My trusty rubber bands. They come in handy dandy as a stripper, but also for me now here in my YouTube while doing these lives and trying to block the view count at the top of the screen. I'm so glad I came up with that idea and actually also remembered to implement it pretty recently, because I technically came up with the idea a little while ago, but I didn't remember to actually start trying to do it until quite recently, just the past few videos or so. So yeah, hi YouTube. We just got about a foot of snow here where I am the past couple of days. The club was actually closed yesterday. Normally I like to try to work on Sundays. Sundays are pretty much my favorite shifts usually. But yeah, we were closed yesterday and got about a foot of snow. And we're actually also opening later today than we normally do. We're pretty much just doing a night shift tonight. So yeah, I'm a little stressed out, I'll be honest. I mean, that's me all the time, but the snowstorms definitely do add to that. So we open in about an hour and a half at the club here tonight, but I did get here early, pretty much an hour and a half early, because I knew that I was gonna want to try to do a video today, especially with not being able to do one yesterday, not really being able to go out yesterday or, you know, do much of anything yesterday with the storm. So yeah, it's kind of awkward right now because I pulled into the parking lot and the only person here besides myself is my favorite manager. I had I pretty much figured that he was gonna be here at some point early, but I didn't actually think he was gonna be here this early. And I feel kind of bad because he's like shoveling the whole parking lot pretty much. I don't know if he's done the entire thing. I'm assuming that some of this must have been plow trucks. But we have a pretty big parking lot here at the club, and I mean, he's doing the walkways. So I think he probably knows by now, though, that I get here early to do my videos. So I felt kind of bad, though, at first. I was like, oh, maybe I could try to give you a hand, but honestly, I can't even really see outside very well right now. It looks like he got pretty much most of it already. I think he might have went inside by now. I'm not too sure. But I already shoveled my my landlord's driveway. So I shoveled quite a bit of snow already earlier, and I'm pretty tired from that. I shoveled out, usually what I'll try to do is I'll shovel out my parking spot and then also the two spots to either side, well, the two spots next to me. So, you know, the spot to my left and my right for my neighbors that park next to me. Partly for them, but also just partly because I consider their parking spaces to be like, well, they're in such close proximity to mine that I just like the entire area near my car to be shoveled out. But it sucks because I got a voicemail from my landlord saying that I guess if we don't move our cars, he's gonna like have them towed or whatever. But I guess that's gonna be in the next couple of days. But then I called him back earlier this afternoon about that, and because my last video I was saying how when I used to try to talk to my old boss for one of my old jobs on the phone, it would be all staticky and I couldn't hear what she was saying, so we never really got to talk on the phone properly. And when I was trying to talk to my landlord on the phone on Saturday, it was kind of the same thing where like it wasn't really going through. He tried to call me a bunch of times and I tried to call him a bunch of times, and the calls just weren't going through properly. I couldn't hear what he was saying. It was all staticky. So, and this was before the snowstorm too. This was the day before the storm hit. So it was really weird. So after that went on for like 5 minutes and like 10 calls each, like both ways between us that didn't go through properly, I was just like, whatever, like I'll just wait till the next day or that kind of thing. So I called him back today, and he said that I guess some of my neighbors thought that he meant to move their car like last night. And he was like, oh, so they moved their cars, and the plow guy's not coming for another couple of days apparently. So he was like, oh yeah, some of the neighbors got confused and moved their car last night into the street, like parked in the road on the street there, and they got towed. So it's weird because he said that he already cleared with the police department that we're allowed to park our cars in the street when there's snow like that. But it's really confusing because at first he was saying that he was going to have our cars towed from the parking lot if we didn't, or like the driveway, if we didn't move them out into the street. Like he was going to have the plow guy have them towed, so to make room for him to plow. So, but then he was like, yeah, well, when you move them, just park them in the street. But then now it's sounding like he was saying he got the clear, like the go ahead to have us be able to park there. And now he's saying that, and now it sounds like more stressful to like park in the street like that because I guess the neighbors already got towed for that. So we have to make sure it's at just the right time. And I'm just really stressing out about it. So yeah, I don't know. But when I talked to him earlier today, I was like, I just like, because he knows that I'm a dancer. He knows what I do for work at the club and stuff. And I just tried, but he's really old too, so he might maybe forget, I figure. So I just tried to remind him. I was like, I don't really get to sleep until, oh, and the plow guy used to come at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. But I guess now he's going to be coming a lot earlier, like 11 or 12 in the afternoon, which is obviously way too early for me. So I just tried to remind him. I was like, I work night shifts and I don't typically get to bed until like 8 a.m. in the morning. And I was like, honestly, I was like, because I cleared out pretty much my entire half of the parking, well, the driveway, not parking lot, but the driveway. So it was a lot of snow too. And but I, like, everything near my car I completely cleared because I knew. I was like, and one of my neighbors was out there at the time, and I told her, I was like, because I was helping her clear out her spot too, and she was like, okay, like it's all set, like you should try to go now if you have to go to work. And I was just like, well, I just want to make sure I get like as much as I can because I want to be able to tell our landlord that we really don't need the plow guy for this half of the driveway. He just has to do the other half. Our half is going to be all clear. So I told my landlord later after that, when I called him back, I was like, honestly, I would rather shovel that entire driveway myself than to have to worry about my car, like moving my car or my car being towed or anything like that. I was like, I promise you, I give you my solemn word, any amount of snow that the plow guy is not able to get near my car or whatever is left that he's not able to get, I will shovel myself. And I was like, if my landlord, I'm pretty sure, like, is pretty rich. He doesn't live near where my apartment is that I rent from him. He lives in like a different town, like the rich town around here. So he doesn't seem to care about money very much, but I was like, if you want to save a buck, I was like, you don't even need to like have this plow guy. I was like, I will happily shovel the entire driveway myself. I just don't want to have to worry about my car, But again, like, he's rich, so he doesn't really seem to care about money very much. So he doesn't care about trying to save a buck like I do. But I don't know, it's just, usually he's very rude to me and very dismissive. Like when he left the voicemail, they sounded very rude to me, like they usually do. But when I called him back, he sounded a little bit better about it. Thank gosh. So, because I was like, yeah, I don't even get to bed until like 8 in the morning. So for me to try to be out to clear my car by 11, it's like everything is such a process for me. And oh God. And it sucks too because we've had single digit temperatures pretty much all throughout this past week. And I read online that when it's that cold, like single digit temperatures, there's usually supposed to be less snow because the colder the air is, typically the less moisture will be in the air. So I was like, well, I thought like the sort of upside to having it be that cold was less chance for a lot of snow, but apparently that's not the case right now. And I mean, yeah, the past few days it's been single digit temperatures like day and night. And it looks like it's supposed to continue that way for the rest of this week. So I don't know why we would still be getting this much snow with it being that cold. But I don't know. It's like, why do I bother like with things? Like, why do I bother trying to look stuff up online or look at the weather reports? Because it's like, is anything that I've ever been told or taught like not a complete lie? That's really how it feels, you know? It's like anything that I'm ever told or taught just feels like a lie at this point. Like, I just can't trust anything. But, oh, and yeah, like everything's just really messed up, it seems like. And so I did actually get out of my car briefly here at the club, just to try to like take a look around the parking lot where the manager was shoveling and stuff, just to see like if there might be something I could help out with. But because from my car I really can't see out in the parking lot very well, it's just like this big white gray blur. And then yeah, the windows of my car are just kind of like snowy still a little bit. So I got out of my car for a moment just to try to get a better view of the parking lot earlier. And you guys, look what I freaking saw. There was a spider, okay? I can't believe I'm touching it or holding it right now. Only because I was sure that it's like not currently living, like not alive. I'm like, oh, what a little specimen. My nails don't usually look this bad, I swear. It is winter. Why was there a spider? I thought one of the maybe like sort of silver linings for winter was that there aren't supposed to be bugs. Especially outside. Like how would that be outside like that? I guess, I mean, it is dead, so I don't know. Maybe it crawled outside. It was inside and then it crawled outside. It's just weird, okay? It's just weird either way. There shouldn't be bugs at all. Like, to even be alive and then freeze in the first place. Like, this is smack dab in the middle of winter, so that shouldn't be a thing right now. There should not be any spiders. Very bizarre. Very concerning. Very concerning. But I said to the manager too, he's gonna be leaving in a couple months, and I was like, you must be so excited this is your last winter. But then I always try to Google like different cities and states to see what their weather reports are like this time of year, especially. And even the place that he's moving to, which is like supposed to be one of the warmest places in the country, it said that the temperature at night is like in the 50s, like 50 degrees, which my apartment is like 50 degrees. I don't have the heat on in my apartment and it gets down to about 50, which is pretty cold for me. Like if I were to try to be sleeping in my car, or if I were like sleeping in my car at 50-degree temperatures, that probably wouldn't be very nice. Because I know that being in my apartment when it's 50 degrees is not very nice. And when I'm in my, oh, there he is again. And when I'm in my apartment, you know, like I have things to help with that. Like I make warm drinks and warm food and obviously wear a lot of layers and have blankets and stuff. But I mean, I would just want to think that like Florida or like Texas, California, like the southern states, especially Florida, is like notorious for like it's supposed to be warm there all the time. Like there isn't supposed to ever be cold in Florida. But then that was like the very southern part of Florida too, where it said that it's supposed to be in like the 50s at like for the nighttime temperatures. But the northern parts of Florida, it said that it's like down in the 30s at night, which if I didn't Google that kind of thing, I would never think that way. I would never think that way about Florida. I would just assume that Florida is like sunny and warm day and night year round, like it's supposed to be, I thought. That's what I always thought until I really started like looking this stuff up online. But then yeah, apparently stuff that I look up online isn't accurate anyways, but I'm sure the bad parts must be. But how can it be that cold in Florida? Like that's just not right. So even like as much as I complain about the winters here, even if I did ever like work up the guts to finally be able to get myself to move somewhere warmer someday, I mean, especially at first, I would probably have to be living out of my car. Like, I don't know what I would do for work or how I would be able to find or afford or yeah, even find an apartment in the first place. I wouldn't be able to afford most places probably anyways, but to even find one, realistically, I would hate to do it, but I'd probably have to try to live out of my car, and it's like it would be too hot to do that during the day probably, and I guess in the winter it would be too cold at night. So where it's like everything just seems pretty damn impossible. Like having things be this way, I I get mad at myself for allowing this to be how I spend my time here on this earth. I'm like, I want to have nice experiences and do nice things and like actually be able to enjoy something someday, somewhere, somehow. And it's like it's hard enough for me to try to find like the guts, like to take that chance, to take that risk, to push myself to be like a pioneer and go somewhere that I've never been before, where I don't know anybody, no family, no friends, no connections, no knowledge, no experience, no nothing. Somebody like me that has mental health, physical health problems, no health insurance, no real job experience. I mean, just the chances, like, but for me to even be able to try to convince myself to find that, yeah, to work up the guts, to have the courage to maybe try to push myself to do that eventually at some point, that's one thing. But then also knowing that it's like, well, what's the point if it's still going to be that cold no matter where I go? Or if it's, you know what I mean? If it's like, all this time I thought Florida was supposed to be warm. But now it's like, okay, well, just too hot, too humid, too many bugs, and then still freezing cold temperatures at night in the winter time anyways. So I don't know. I guess there just aren't any options that I can, like, never mind even trying at this point, I guess. Like, I don't know. Oh, God. I just wish this world could be a nice place to be. 2026, like all the so-called technology and all of the so-called advancements And it's just like, this is really how things are. This is really where we're at. It's one thing for it to be where I'm at, but it seems like this is just how things are, I guess. Like, just in the world at large, like in general for other people too, apparently. I don't know. Like, it was pretty freaking miserable though. Holy crap. Anyway, trying not to let this get me down too much. I mean, it is winter after all, and I should be used to this, and I technically am. I've lived here all my life so far. At least I have my handy dandy shovel still. Anyway, I do have some notes with me. I still have about an hour until I have to go sign in for work. So let's see what I have here. Well, I'm telling myself that I might start a diet next Sunday. So apparently this is my last week of pigging out for now. I don't know about that. Honestly, I've been telling myself that for a while, but winter's just really not the time for me to try to diet. It's just so cold. But I do like how the calendar, the 1st of February starts on a Sunday next week. So I like how that looks on the calendar. Or, I don't know. I really hope the club's not going to be closed for very many future snowstorms though, because especially with me being on a diet, like I have to keep myself very busy. Like I have to pretty much come into work damn near every day. For that to even be somewhat of a possibility for me. Yeah, honestly, it's not likely regardless of what I do. I definitely get worse at that as I get older. 'Cause it's never made anything better. You know what I mean? I've had a lot of points in my life where I've been happy with how I looked and like my physical fitness and my dieting results, but it's never gotten me any any good results other than that. It's never gotten me a regular here at the club or like a follower online in a good way, you know what I mean? Like it's never brought me financial success here at the club, or if anything, I hate to say it, but at times it's just made things worse because it's like I just really feel like I'm not allowed to be happy or have any kind of success. The last time that I went on a diet was last summer, and I was really, really happy with my results. But I feel like, especially when I was at the gym, that seemed to be a time in particular where I would have things go missing from my car. I mean, that's happened at different time periods, just like I think throughout different seasons, different years, different time periods. Like, I get messed with a lot, it seems like. But, like, I try not to pay too much attention on it or dwell on it. But in the past, where I kind of just feel like I've noticed it happening more often, it's been when I would be on a diet and actually be doing well with it and like happy about that. And then it's like I would have stuff like that happen more noticeably. Or also when I would try to go on this webcamming site that I'm on, because I kind of just like financially have given up on the dancing for a while now, to where I just treat it like a workout, like me trying to finally get myself in shape. or like periodically. Like the winter always messes that up for me. But I definitely treat the dancing as a way to try to get exercise because, yeah, like I've never really had success financially with it. So with the webcamming, I've always kind of like wanted to cling on to that little bit of hope. Like, well, yeah, maybe if I did want to travel in the future, or, like maybe I could have some kind of financial success with the webcamming. But yeah, it's like the times that I've tried to go on there, it's so much for me to try to get myself to go on there, just with everything that I've been with and my self-esteem and or stuff that I've been through and my self-esteem and just, for a lot of reasons. But then it's like, yeah, the recent times in the past when I tried to go on there, it's like literally the next day, like very, very shortly afterwards, I would notice significant things like missing or messed with in my apartment, my car, etc. So I don't know. This is not a nice way to exist in the world. And it's like, even if that wasn't the case, even if those things weren't happening, like just being in the adult industry or whatever the reason might be for someone or something to be messing with me like that, I already exist in this land of winter. Things already suck enough anyways. Like, it's not like I wouldn't say that would have things too easy otherwise. It's like, if you could look around me right now, like what I'm seeing, and see what I was just doing all the previous day of today and just in general, like, isn't that already sucky enough? Like, why make it worse? Like, what is the point of that? Like, it's just so bizarre to me. And I don't think that I'm that bad of a person. Like, I know that I'm not. I'm not like a complete angel, obviously. Like, yeah, I've done bad things. Yeah, but not to this extent. Like, there's just no way. Very, very, very few people, I would think, in this world could possibly do things bad enough to warrant this kind of harassment or that kind of, like, there's no way. So anyway, I did almost try to go into work last Thursday. I guess especially if I do really try to stick to my diet this round, regardless of all my many reasons and excuses not to bother. Something that I'm definitely gonna have to do with that is to just really try to come into work, yeah, like as much as I can, almost every single day pretty much. Yeah, last Thursday, I hardly ever work Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, but particularly because those are the shifts in the past that I've noticed them using a smoke machine that I'm very allergic to. But that smoke machine sometimes will come and go throughout the years, months, whatever it might be. It's not always very consistent with that. There's a lot of aspects of working here at the club that I work at that are really not very consistent. So I never really know how things might be here. It's kind of like I almost feel like I'm always just going in blind with stuff here. Not completely blind per se, but in a lot of ways, there's a lot of different factors that I never really feel like I'm able to try to prepare myself for as much as I might like to try to prepare myself for. I'm the kind of person that tries to be as prepared as I possibly can be, especially being around here with winters like this and stuff. But yeah, there's just a lot of factors beyond my control, especially here at the club, that I just don't know. There's really no way for me to try to prepare myself for a lot of stuff with that because, again, a lot of it is just beyond my control, and it just kind of constantly changes. Um, a lot of times there aren't really very many patterns that I can try to predict with that. It really just feels like me pretty much, yeah, just being messed with various ways, various times, yada yada. But one of the reasons that I didn't actually end up coming into work last Thursday was partly because it took me too long getting ready. And then also, I didn't know if they were going to be using the smoke machine. So, yeah, typically towards the end of the week, primarily Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I would say are the times, like the nights that it's more common for that stuff to be used. But I was talking to some of the other dancers here recently, and they said that they haven't seen it being used as much those nights lately. But again, that changes all the time. So sometimes it's not used on the weekends, but I feel like that's more of a rare thing. But when that is the case, when there might be from time to time, when there might actually be some of the busier nights, like towards the end of the week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, where they're not using that smoke, I really try to, usually I'm not even aware of it, because I don't want to be weird just going around asking people about it all the time and like give that away too much, that I have such an issue with it. But if I kind of casually hear that in conversation sometime, or try to casually ask about it here and there when I can, if it sounds like it's not being used as much during a particular time, I really want to try to make the most of that, but I just never really know. So it is really difficult, especially paying to work here like we do at this club. It's just, my gosh, It is really, really hard to have hope and still try to stay positive with all of these different, with winters around here the way that they are regardless. It's such a huge thing already that you kind of just can't get away from around here. It's such a cold, hard fact that's just like pretty much a permanent thing, regardless. But then to have all of these other things, is just that technically in theory could be, made better or fixed, depending on who is really in control of them at any given time. Certainly not myself, usually with most of it, it seems, but I do try my best. But yeah, damn, it really is difficult to just keep trying to, despite all of this, like, it's like but I was still happy with myself for at least trying to maybe try to go in last Thursday, because, again, I normally don't work on a Thursday, so I'm not familiar with those shifts. It would probably be a male DJ working that shift, which really makes me uncomfortable. I usually try to work with the female DJ that we have. So yeah, I was pretty sure that it would have been a male DJ, and I didn't know if we were going to be having the smoke last Thursday, but I still pushed myself to try to take that chance to come in, or thought that I still went out. I still got ready, I just didn't end up having enough time, after all was said and done, or just the getting ready part of trying to was said and done. It's just such a process for me, but yeah, really, I just wanted to do my YouTube video. But that's another thing that really has been difficult with the winter, me still trying to stick with my YouTube and stuff, and, having all the issues that I have with my YouTube. And, oh, gosh. But But I really would like to try to get back to the gym. It's been so long since I've been to the gym, and I know that would definitely help my dieting process if I did actually stick with that plan that I have to maybe start my diet next month or next week. Not next month, next week. Um, uh, it is a bit of a drive for me to get over there though, so uh, but I think part of me going to the gym less, obviously the winter is the main reason. But also I've been prioritizing my YouTube a lot um, for a while now. So I think depending on how the whole dieting thing goes next week and for February and March and stuff, I don't know, my YouTube might have to take a little bit of a backseat for a little while, or I'm not too sure exactly quite yet, but I know that a lot of what I talk about on here is, redundant and, you know, just not that exciting, just me complaining mostly. And I'm definitely not actively able to make any positive changes just complaining about the same things over and over again, you know? So, I don't know. Maybe if I did ever finally, get to push myself to take that chance and go move somewhere else someday, maybe that's something I could incorporate into my channel in the future. But yeah, I don't know. If I do continue to just stay here where I am and where I've been for so long, it's like, I don't know, there's only so much more I can really address and keep complaining about, without it just being a broken record. And yeah, I can talk about my shifts, and whatever. And there's still a few subjects that I want to talk more about, but yeah, I mean, I even just annoy myself a lot of times because it's like, um, but even with that being the case, even with me kind of complaining and saying a lot of things over and over, hopefully maybe there would be at least a couple of people out there that still like to watch me and maybe feel a little better about their own lives and problems that they might have just hearing somebody else, talk about theirs, kind of distract them for a bit. I don't know. I like to watch other people and other things on YouTube, for largely for that reason, to kind of just try to distract myself from my own chaos and my own stuff sometimes. But again, that doesn't really technically fix anything either, but in the moment it can be a nice little distraction, just a little something, I guess, just to take a break from my own stuff, So, well, anyone that's seen a few of my videos before, or that might be somewhat familiar with my channel, would probably know that the dancer, the aka stripper name that I go by here at the club that I work at, is Tinka. So I know the necklace reads backwards on the lives, but yeah, Tinka. I'm thinking in the future, I don't want to spend the money on it, of course, but at some point, something that I would like to try to do for myself at some point, it's like a life goal of mine. I would like to change my last name. At this point, I probably can't see myself ever getting married and having it changed that way. The last name that I have right now, like my legal government name on paper, it's my younger brother's father who adopted me when I was quite young. he was, you know, a pretty good father figure for a while when I was a small child and for most of the time that I was growing up as a kid and stuff. But he hasn't really been in the picture since I've been an adult. At least not very much. He was still a little bit in the picture after I turned 18 for a couple of years there, but it definitely tapered off, to where now and for quite a while, for the for over 10 years at least, you know, for a while, he has not really been in the picture. And you know, I still have his last name though, which kind of bugs me sometimes. Like, I mean, and I feel bad for him even just because I haven't really made a very good name for myself with a lot of stupid stuff that I've done. And I mean, I've been in trouble with the law before and stuff like that. So, but I was thinking, kind of a little bit as a joke, or I think the last name that I would want to change my, like my legal name to would be Spinster. So Tinka Spinster. I feel like that kind of has a funny ring to it. And I know that word spinster has throughout history been used in a mostly negative way. But well, I've definitely never been married and I probably never will be. I kind of just want to like make fun of it a little bit, you know. I feel like I get made fun of a lot. But also my dancing style, as a dancer and here at the club, I do a lot of spinning. I spin around on stage a lot. I love to spin, and I pretty much always have actually. Even when I was a small child, I can remember my favorite thing to do at recess was to be on the tire swings and just spin and spin and spin. And I remember some of the other kids at recess, they would try to keep up with me like that, like because we had multiple tire swings at a lot of the playgrounds that I was, you know, like that we had at different schools that I was at. There was one in particular where we had like 2 or 3 tire swings, and other kids would like throw up at a certain point, like after spinning around, and I would never get dizzy or sick from it. I could just spin around on those tire swings the entire recess long. That's all I wanted to do. I just wouldn't stop. I would just spin and spin and spin and spin. And I think that's something they say that autistic kids do a lot, which I don't know. I kind of wonder sometimes if I might be autistic, honestly, although I've never been diagnosed or tested for it. I think for me, it's just one of those things where I didn't really start to think about it until well into my adulthood. And because that was pretty much, I wasn't even familiar with the concept of that kind of thing until just a few years ago, because it was like in the media all of a sudden a lot. But yeah, I mean, once I had really heard about it and become more aware of it and done some research, I was like, damn, I think maybe I might actually, that kind of stuff might apply to me. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't have health insurance. I probably won't be tested for it now or possibly ever. But I strongly suspect that if I was to be tested for it, I probably would be diagnosed. Or I think there's a strong chance that I likely, you know, it seems like a likely thing for me and for the issues that I have and the symptoms that I have with that kind of stuff. But I love to spin around, and I always have. So Tinka Spinster, that's the name that I want, like actually on paper as my actual name before I leave this earth. I can't just stay how it's been. I don't feel any kind of, I don't feel like the name that I have on paper, like legally, that's been assigned to me by other people that don't really know me. I feel like, you know, I would like my name to be my choice, not just as a stripper, but as a person on paper as well, like my real actual personhood someday. I mean, and yeah, at this point, you know, at the age that I'm at now, I'll probably never get to be a big old star like I've always wanted to be, but maybe posthumously if my work ever gets to become anything ever, I kind of feel like I don't know how, but I'd kind of want to be buried or have my remains or whatever you'd want to call it, like probably where all the big stars are. So what, like the West Coast, Los Angeles? I don't know. Or at least closer to that. I just feel my soul and my spirit so much in things like music and movies. You know, I don't really feel any kind of close relation to where I've been thus far, to where I've grown up and where I've been, where I am now. This doesn't feel like me. This is not who I am. And I would never want it to be. I feel like I want to actively renounce everything that I've ever known and everything that I've ever been. And all of the parts of my so-called existence that have just been kind of forced upon me by other people and other things. You know, I'm a star. Even if I'm not recognized as one or treated as one or known as one, like, I just know that I am, like, on the inside. And yeah, I gotta get myself out of here at some point. I don't care how long it takes. But this is not what I'm meant for. This is not me. It never has been. And it never will be. No matter how long I've been stuck in this stupid place that I'm at right now. I mean, I love the club that I dance at. But that's not enough to make being where I am like this. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not enough to overshadow all the other reality of where this club is actually located, you know, like this part of the country, this part of the world. This is just not it, especially for me. This is just not. My soul, my spirit will never really be here or any part of this awful crap, you know. This isn't where I belong. And I've always known that. I just, at some point, I have to actually really actively do something about that, you know. And I don't know when that day will come, but it will come. Eventually, you know. When the time is right, or when I finally feel ready, or whatever it might be. I still have no idea exactly how that's gonna happen, when or how, but I just know that this is not where I'm meant to be, you know. So anyway. Even if it could happen after I die, like posthumously, whatever, like I want my name on the Hollywood Walk of Fame somehow, some way, for something. I know that sounds stupid, but I just do. I'm a superstar. Like, okay? Just saying, point noted. Maybe I'll get into that more some other time, but oh gosh. So I've been having this kind of dream lately. Not just one. I've had this sort of dream various times, various different instances and details. So not literally the same dream over and over, but the same kind of theme where I'll be driving. Um, Maybe just like as a regular kind of driving situation, like in a vehicle, or also sometimes it's been more like a video game where I don't know, like I used to play Mario Kart 64 a lot with my younger brother as a kid. So maybe something more like that style, where it's still like me behind the wheel and me in the driver's seat, but I guess in more of a video game kind of style. But regardless, I mean, I've had like more of that kind of a dream with it, but also like me just like regular driving like a car with this, but where it's been me behind the wheel and kind of like a difficult road or a difficult course where I really had to pay attention and make sure I made the right moves behind the wheel and took the right turns and just really had to like pay attention to what I was doing. Like a video game, you know. But or just like driving down a difficult kind of road with like a lot of twists and turns and like obstacles, that kind of thing. And in this dream, or in these dreams that I would have like this, there would be times where it would start off with me behind the wheel. So I was seeing out the windshield or like on the video game screen as though I was behind the wheel, like first person POV point of view kind of thing. And it would already be stressful and chaotic enough, just me trying to do it that way, being able to see where I was going, you know, like you normally would driving. Or, yeah, in that kind of a video game, like you were still basically the driver. But then it would pan out, not like something like I consciously chose to do or something that I was controlling, but the dream would kind of automatically on its own, shortly after that, it would pan out to where all of a sudden I would be witnessing this same kind of thing, but from outside the car, from outside the vehicle, kind of like up above in the sky, or like much further out, much further up, looking down on the vehicle from like an outsider's point of view. But I would, even though I was outside the vehicle and observing it from that different perspective, I would be very aware that I was still operating the car or operating the thing that I was driving as the person behind the driver's seat. And I would be trying to still, I would be looking at the road and all the different turns and the obstacles from this much different perspective up in the sky. But it would be so much more difficult to try to control the vehicle or know how to try to, like, which turns to make, how to try to maneuver around the different twists and turns and things on the road, not being able to see out the windshield or not being able to see from behind the steering wheel like I previously had been. I knew that I had to like control my brain and control my body to try to control the vehicle the same way that I had been moments before, but I didn't have that. My perspective was totally different. My perspective was completely removed from the vehicle at that point. And I would just be kind of freaking out, like, how do I keep driving this car when I can no longer see where I'm going in the way that I was seeing it before? I'm seeing it in this totally new way. I don't know, it kind of reminds me of like a subjective versus an objective point of view. Like, kind of in life, like, when you hear about somebody else in life making mistakes or being a dumbass, basically, it's easy enough to say, oh, if I were them, I would know better. I would never do that. Because that's your objective point of view. you know, or kind of like when you're watching a scary movie. Like, you know, when you watch a scary movie and you see one of the characters in the movie on the screen doing something stupid, and you're like, oh, come on, like, you've got to know that the killer is going to be hiding behind that thing. Or, you know, if they do something stupid, as a viewer, you're like, oh, come on. Like, if I were in their shoes, I would know better. I would never be that stupid as the person in the movie. You know, in the movie, they have to be that stupid to make the movie that way, or to make the movie scarier, or so that something happens, like big and eventful happens in the movie. But you're like, as a viewer, it's like, oh no, I would definitely know better. Like, but it's got to be a lot easier to say that when you're, again, having that objective point of view, able to pan out and watch things like that happening from that different point of view, versus when you're actually in the subjective experience, or if you were, you know, you're not really able to see or be as aware of all the details when you're in that subjective experience firsthand. And I'm not really explaining this as well as I would want to try to. I don't know, it just reminded me of that a little bit. So I've been having a dream like that a lot lately. I mean, yeah, it's easy enough to judge people when you're an objective person kind of far removed from their situation and from their experiences. But when you're actually in the moment as that person in the subjective point of view, it's a whole different experience. And with the driving thing, I almost feel like it's kind of vice versa. It can maybe feel easier to try to navigate when you're behind the wheel looking out the windshield, or in the video game when you're looking from this driver's point of view, versus if you were to try to drive a car from the point of view of watching the vehicle from way up above in the sky, just looking down on it. In that sense, it might actually be more difficult to have the objective point of view versus the subjective person behind the wheel. But regardless, I just feel like these two concepts kind of intertwine a bit, or to me, they just remind me of each other. I don't know where I'm going with this, honestly, but it's just something that's been on my mind lately. Because, yeah, I've been having that dream a few different times now. I feel quite awful. Just awful. This is totally random, but it's also something that was on my mind recently. So, you know how when people have the sweatpants, usually females, and I think it's like Juicy Couture brand, but they have the word juicy across the backside of the pants. What if instead of the word juicy, they put the word moist? I apologize. Well, that's bright. Hello. It's still snowing, by the way, so forgive me. I'm just trying to cheer myself up. That's not good lighting. You're ruining my lighting! Making it worse. What was that? Oh, God. Oh. Okay, they went inside. It means the door is unlocked. That's good. The club door, I mean. Because I know, like, everybody says, or like pretty much everybody seems to say that they hate the word moist, and I don't blame them. I'm not really a fan of it myself. So yeah, but I mean, honestly though, when you think about it, technically, isn't the word juicy and the word moist, don't they pretty much mean just about the same thing? And they're both 5 letters long as well. Yes, they are, I'm pretty sure. So 5 letters, juicy, moist. If I ever start my own clothing company at some point in the future, I'm gonna do that. Okay, I'm done with that now. All right, on to the next thing. I apologize. Oh. All right, there's a lot on this paper that I don't feel like getting into right now. I'm just too tired, honestly. So some of the other stuff on this paper is more on the serious side, and I just, again, I'm really tired right now, and I'm just not in the mood to get into that now. I mean, I saw that the club door is unlocked, so I feel like I might as well just get in there and start to get ready pretty soon. But there's a couple other little silly things that I have that I'll want to probably just try to say quickly right now. So, because I'm trying to keep myself in a lighter mood right now as best I can, because it's been a day and it's been quite a few days of just snow and cold and no good really. But so, well, one of them isn't really that silly, but one of them is. So something that I like to do here at the club, part of the reason, well, it's my favorite manager working tonight. Part of the reason my favorite manager is my favorite manager and has been for a while. I mean, there's different reasons. I really like their personality and I've just really liked working with them for a while. But also another part of that is I really like the way, not always, but usually I really like the way that they do the music and the lights on the stage here at the club. Excuse me. So, oh, it's still snowing. I'm so tired. Part of the way they do the lights on the club or on the stage sometimes, I'm like, my posture is really bad right now too. Like, I feel like I can't sit up straight. I don't know why. I feel like I have to lean into the camera for you guys to hear me, especially when the heat's on, but I'm sure you could probably hear me with me just sitting back and sitting up straight. I just feel like I'm so far away from the camera when I sit back. But so the way that they do the lights on the stage sometimes, it kind of creates this shadow on the stage floor for me. So usually when I'm stretching, especially on the stage, I like to typically, again, this is very light dependent, so I can't always do this because there's other types of lights that are sometimes on that are like too bright and like flashing in my eyes in this area. But when I can, especially when I'm stretching towards the start of my shift, I usually start my stretching and focus most of my stretching stances in this particular spot of the stage. So typically I'll start standing on the left side of the pole, facing the DJ booth. And a lot of times when I'm standing in that general area, there'll be a shadow on the floor in front of me where I can see like my head, the shadow of my head and like my hair, well, my wigs, and like my bust and my hands and my arms. So pretty much my top half, especially, I'm seeing the shadow of on the floor. And what I'll do sometimes is make shadow puppets. So, I've never seen anybody else do this before, and for good reason, because why would somebody do that? But I mean, I want to make the most of it because you can't make shadow puppets very often here with the way that the lights usually are. But when the lights are like that in that particular way, that particular style, you can make really good shadow, or I can make really good shadow puppets that way. And yeah, I know it's silly, but it's not like I'm doing this for like customers. I'm doing this when it's slow, okay? Like when there's nobody there yet. So just to entertain myself or maybe whoever else happens to see me doing this. But there are certain songs that go particularly well with that, I find. One of them being the song Grills by Nelly, where it's like, smile for me, daddy. Let me see your grill. You want to see my what? Yeah, your grill. Yeah, your grill. Got the mold bottom row and the bottom row's gold. Top row yellow and the bottom row's gold. All right, I can't do it that well right now, but I swear in person it's great. To date, that's my favorite song to do this to. There are other songs that are nice as well, but that one comes to mind as my favorite to do the shadow puppets with. And yeah, anyway. I actually did some of the faces that I like to do on stage sometimes in my last video. However, I was not doing them with the earmuffs, so I'd like to redo some of them now with the earmuffs to wrap this up. Also, this part isn't really that like silly or funny, but back to one of the most recent videos that I did. One of them was with my dancer friend Taz, where it was my 5th time interviewing her here at the club. And it's kind of funny because I had her wear a pair of devil horn headbands and I was wearing a halo, like an angel halo headband. And I didn't even think of this part at the time, but she's always had like a devil theme to her like persona here at the club. It looks like her OnlyFans name actually has the word devil in it, and she has 2 Dodge cars, a Charger and a Challenger, and I'm pretty sure one of them at one point she actually had devil horn like emblems like mounted on the front hood of her car, like little devil horns on the sides of her car. So, and I wasn't even really like remembering that when I had her wear the devil horns during that last interview that we did together. But I'm reminded of that now, thinking more about it. And I was kind of thinking, like, I really like that concept of an angel interviewing the devil or a devil. But then I was like, well, should it be that way or should it be the other way around with the person doing the interview wearing the devil horn? So it's like the devil interviewing an angel. Like, does an angel have all the answers? Or ask an angel anything kind of thing. You know, you can add some like alliteration there with it, kind of spice it up a little bit. But honestly, either way you do it, I like the concept of that either way it goes. I really like the concept of the devil interviewing an angel, and I also like the concept with an angel interviewing a devil, because I feel like either way that can be kind of an interesting idea, interesting concept, and that kind of just makes me think about things a little more with that kind of stuff. And especially when it's the person, I think I like how we did it the first time too, though, especially when it's the devil, no, when it's the angel interviewing the devil, because doing an interview, it's almost like you're kind of expecting the person that's answering your questions to explain themselves, you know, with their answers. Like, and nobody's perfect. Nobody has all the answers. Nobody, you know, we're all human. Or, well, honestly, this day and age, maybe not. With technology, the way that it's gotten, at this point, that might not actually be the case, I guess. Maybe we're not all human anymore, but whatever. Maybe at one point in history, at one point in time, we were human, all of us. So let's go with that. Oh, yay, Paris is here! Paris, yay, Paris! Oh, she's so cute. So I really want to do another interview with her sometime, but I think she's a little more on the shy side with that kind of thing still. Gotta work out of it. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting concept. devils interviewing angels, angels interviewing devils, and how like either way, people are just kind of expected to try to pretty much have to explain themselves, like with a lot of stuff it seems, you know, like why are you the way that you are? Why do you do things the way that you do? Explain yourself! But, you know, like maybe even an angel wouldn't have all the answers, or yeah, anyway. So I'm wondering, like, for the next time we do an interview together, I'm pretty sure the next time it's going to be her interviewing me. So then it's like, should 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 she should she wear the devil horn still so that we can switch up the interview and have vice versa with that? Or I feel like there's endless combinations. There mathematically, there's really not endless combinations with this, but in my brain, that's what it feels like right now. My favorite manager is back out there in the parking lot. He's right next to my car. Oh God. He's so sexy. He's wearing a t-shirt. He's really like built well, because I think he used to be a personal trainer, or maybe he still is, and does like massage therapy. Oh, I see him like massaging some of the dancers here at the club sometimes, and I'm just like, it's distracting. I find him very attractive, but I don't tell him that because he has a girlfriend. And also he's leaving soon, and I don't want to like let myself struggle even more with that than I already am and will be. All right, I think he went back inside. Okay, so real briefly, to wrap this up for now, I'm going to say goodbye to the spider. I put the spider on my Swiffer pad because I keep my handy dandy, this is the last Swiffer pad that I have to clean the stage with. So I keep it right here, right in front of me in my car. I want to dissect this spider specimen later and do some experiments on it. You can't even really see it in the camera, can you? Oh, look, there it is. Help me! No, I swear it's dead. I wouldn't be able to touch it if it was alive. I'm a total sissy. Oh, yes, so other times when I'm standing at the pole, just like stretching and stuff, I know I did this in my last video, but again, I was not wearing the earmuffs, which I really should have been. So I do special stretches, and I make special faces sometimes while I'm doing them to try to like cheer myself up, or honestly, it's also out of curiosity to see if anybody else in the room is going to notice or react or like say anything or like look over at me. Nobody ever does so far. That's probably a good thing, but it's also a little concerning because it's like, I know most people here in the strip club are like here to make money and like be normal, not normal, but make money, and just like they're in their own like zone of trying to do that, or like talk to customers, or talk to the dancers are trying to talk to the customers are trying to talk to the dancers. We're all just being responsible adults here as best we can. And then there's me making shadow puppets and also making funny faces, or faces that I find funny anyways. But I just know that if I were somebody else and like seeing me do that, I would never be able to ignore it. I'd be like, I would react. I'm a very reactive person sometimes, so, and people love to try to get a reaction out of me, it seems like, and they usually do. So I'll be standing in front of the pole. Okay, so I'm gonna do this again in the future when it's light out, because I keep saying that too. I have to get it with daylight and with earmuffs, and like when I have more time to focus, but I wish I could put my car further back too, because I feel like I'm crouched down in this little car. This car is so small. Oh God, now there's a floor hose next to me. I'm not trying to do this really for an audience right now. I'm trying to do this for my YouTube audience, but not, I do this for the club audience when I'm on the stage, but not when I'm doing it for the YouTube audience in my car, I don't want the club audience here in the parking lot. Go, okay, now he's back inside. Okay. Okay, that's enough for now. I feel like my spine, I feel like I'm just like really crouched. Oh my God, my back hurts so bad. My shoulder is still really bothering me from the time that I fell down the stairs 20 days ago. Today is the 26th, January 26th. I fell down the stairs January 6th, so 20 days ago. It's been over 2 weeks. It's been almost, it's 3 weeks. It's gonna be 3 weeks. Starting at midnight will be Tuesday, so 3 weeks. And my shoulder has not really gotten better, honestly. It's still, and I can't, when I fell down the stairs, I remember specifically, I was like, oh, okay, so I hurt my knees, my ankles, and my wrists. Never once did a shoulder cross my mind for either of my shoulders. For whatever reason, my shoulder seems to be what got it the worst somehow, even though that didn't register in the moment whatsoever, which is very bizarre to me. Although similar things have happened under different circumstances before here for me. So life's just such a mystery, isn't it? So many things, so many mysteries. It's 14 degrees, which is honestly, that's actually not as frigid as it's been. It's been like legit single digit temperatures for many, many days prior to this, and the rest of the forecast for the rest of this week is said to be single digit temperatures for like the days and the nights. So good luck to me with that. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this video up for now. Glad that I was able to come on today. Glad that I was able to get here to the club in one piece. Yeah, gonna go head in for now, get to it in there. But yeah, I mean, with how things have been, it might be a bit difficult for me to come on again soon, although I am going to try. I would love to be able to try to come back on tomorrow or possibly Wednesday. Who knows, but you know, sooner than later, as I like to say. So I hope you guys are staying warm, and hopefully I'll be able to come back on again pretty soon. Peace out for now, guys.